What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today here we are talking about the data download with the brand new Kizuna Clash Sugo Fest featuring Drake and Kobe, as well as a brand new Super Evolution, which I guess we're just going to jump into first because that's probably the most exciting part. Alright, and I am still in the United States, of course, and it is very early in the morning, but I wanted to get this information out because I know a lot of people are excited about the brand new Super Evolution for Blackbeard. So Blackbeard is going to be the next Super Evolution coming out with the Kizuna Clash, of course, and you can get the skulls from the Kizuna Clash. And remember that we do currently have the Pyre Rumble season active right now, the Super Pyre Rumble featuring Blackbeard, so you can get 2 copies for free just by actually completing the missions, which is obviously going to be great. So for those people out there that don't have their Blackbeard maxed, and this is going to be a great opportunity to go ahead and do that, because currently I am still missing 2 copies in order to get him maxed. So I'm going to have to do those missions to get his level limit break to 5, because remember, Super Evolutions from now on will have the ability to get the level limit break, which makes them even better than their base version, which is very important. So let's go ahead and talk about the Super Evolution of Blackbeard. He is a super type int driven powerhouse character, which does not change from his original version, and then his captain ability. So this captain ability is the buffed version where he gives int and strength characters 4.75 times attack with a 1.75 health boost, and also boosting their attack by 5.25, or boosting his own attack by 5.25 times instead, which is very similar to old Blackbeard, where he is very self-centered. He gives himself the bigger boost rather than the crew. He also makes int and strength slots beneficial to int and strength characters, so very reminiscent to V2 Akainu when he received his Super Evolution, where, you know, obviously he's mainly just focused on strength and int characters, and weirdly enough, Blackbeard is doing the same thing. He also completely removes his own special bind and paralysis, which is kind of an interesting choice. I don't know if that's what I would have picked specifically for him, but I actually kind of like that, because it means that you can actually, you know, use his special whenever you want. Special bind is not going to be a problem for him. The paralysis, removing self-paralysis hasn't always been the biggest deal, but I suppose if you're in a situation where you need to kill an enemy, you know, and you get paralyzed, Blackbeard is not going to have to worry about that. You can use his special ability, which of course is going to give him the significant damage boost, and in a lot of cases, depending on what kind of enemy you are facing, that's probably just going to KO the enemy by itself, because Blackbeard hits extremely hard. And then he also reduces his own cooldown by 2 turns at the start of the next turn after you take damage, which again is very similar, because they want you to use this Blackbeard special as many times as you can during the quest, and each time you do use it, it will actually increase your damage potential with the character. So it's very important that you actually use his special as often as possible, and this ability to take damage to reduce his cooldown is obviously helped through the ability of the 1.75 times health boost, which is super significant. And then of course, if you do opt to use him as a captain, you get access to his super type, where in order to activate it, you need to make sure that his attack is 500 times more than his base. So basically, anytime you activate an orb boost, an attack boost, stuff like that, where it increases his damage, basically when you look at his attack multiplier, you have to make sure that it's 500 times higher than his base attack. So his current base attack is 1094. If you multiply that by 500, you need to make sure his attack is higher than that in order for it to activate. But of course, when you look at his special ability, you can understand how that actually works. But the super type special will give him 1250 base attack boost, which is pretty significant, and also reduces all enemies' beneficial effects by 1 turn. And this is one of the best effects in this character's kit in general. Being able to remove 1 turn of enemy beneficial effects is very absurd, because the enemy cannot resist that, and basically anytime they have like 1 turn of any debuff, you can remove it. It doesn't matter what it is. And like some of the most annoying debuffs in the game, like damage immunity or barriers or damage limiter, all of those effects which are relatively difficult to remove, Blackbeard can remove it. And if you are using double Blackbeard, you can use both of these super type specials to ensure that you remove 2 turns of these pesky debuffs, or these pesky buffs on the enemy side of the field. So his super type special is one of the best components of this character that a lot of people don't really talk about. But then of course you have access to his special ability, which this is the normal special that you will get. We'll have a look at his level limit break special in just a moment, but the base 6+ special is a 10% health cut that goes through everything. He reduces threshold by 5 turns, which is a brand new mechanic that he has. He also gives himself a matching slot through block slots, which I also think is a slight change, and then boosts his own attack and slot effects by 1 turn based on the number of times that you have used his special before launching the special. So on the initial activation, it's a 3 times attack and all boost. On the second activation, it is a 3.5, and then on the third activation, it is a 4 times attack and all boosting effect. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe the base Blackbeard was like 2x, 3x, then 4x? Yeah, it is. And he didn't go through block slots either, and he didn't remove the threshold. So that's actually a pretty significant change. So being able to start off his attack at 3x is massive. So going from 3 to 3.5 then to 4x is a big jump. So let's have a look at the level limit break special. He actually removes the threshold by 7 turns instead of 5. That's a pretty nice change. And then we'll change the multipliers once again from 3.5 on first activation, 3.75 on the second, and then the 4 times on the third activation. So that's really good actually. I think this guy's pretty solid, but again, he is a little slow. This is not a character you're really going to use that often, just due to the fact that he has the ability of him just needing to charge his special so often. However, on the first activation being a 3.5 with the level limit break, that definitely helps him out. I mean, obviously the 4 times boost gives you the higher damage, but I think in a lot of cases you might not even need that. And still, you can still use this guy as a crewmate to just give himself a 3.5 attack and all boost, still remove 7 turns of threshold, and I think that alone is going to help you clear bosses out. So I think there is definitely some usability for this Blackbeard character, which is kind of cool. Definitely not my favorite super evolution in the game at the moment, but I think that there is probably some niche cases where this guy is going to be very useful to have. And then of course we've got the Pirate Rumble abilities for Blackbeard with his Rumble ability, which is going to give int teammates level 5 health, and if his HP is 60% or below, he gives himself level 5 CT increase, and powerhouse characters get level 5 attack. This is not the best Pirate Rumble ability. The fact that you get most of the effects when you're below 60% really doesn't help. Most of the time you're just going to be getting the HP boost. But the thing is, Int and Powerhouse have really strong characters. I mean, just Int in general have some really nice units. It is unfortunate that a lot of the Blackbeards are all Int, so you really are trying to pick and choose which Blackbeard you actually want. But when Pirate Rumble first launched, this guy actually debuted for the first time. He debuted with Pirate Rumble. So this was one of the best units when this game mode first came out. And then having a look at this special ability, 20 CT, that does a medium range 2.5 times attack, and then gives himself a level 10 attack increase and a level 4 CT increase for 25 seconds. Yeah, I think that this special is very good. If you can supplement his Rumble ability with some other powerful effects, then I think that his Rumble special can definitely shine. And while it is only a medium range, you got to look at the fact that it's a 20 CT. You're going to be able to launch this, like, what, 4 or 5 times in a quest? Like, that is ridiculous. So I can definitely see this seeing a lot of play for sure. And then the resistance to Psi by 30% and a little bit of healing if you're below 50%. Not really the biggest fan of that, but I assume that with level limit break the resistance slightly changes? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's weird. So the level limit break literally only gives special and captain upgrades, no Rumble upgrades. That's a little weird. Huh. Either way, pretty interesting upgrades for Blackbeard. Alright, so now we get to have a look at the Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash Sugo Fest, which features 2 brand new rare recruits in Kobe and X Drake. And to be honest, I think you should probably just be skipping this one. I mean, just having a look at the banner artwork, we've got Sengoku, Kaido Crew, also Blackbeard, which remember is going to be technically free to play due to his availability via the Super Pirate Rumble event. And then you've also got the Usopp and the Buggy and Mr. 3 character. Like, this is just not a very enticing banner. And while the first multi is a discount, I mean, that's probably the only thing about it that is actually good. The rest of this is just kind of mid. But let's go ahead and break down the 2 new characters. Anyways, we have X-Drake, and X-Drake is a strength / a powerhouse. Captain ability really doesn't matter, but it does get upgraded in the event itself. But the most important thing about these 2 characters is going to be their specials. So you've got Drake, who reduces 5 turns of attack down, 70% damage reduction, so we can surmise what's going to happen in these boss fights just by reading what these characters do. He also reduces defense up and damage reduction by 5 turns, and then a strength / a powerhouse 2.5 times attack boost for 1 turn. Yeah, this guy's very good. You're removing so many different debuffs, and also applying damage reduction and an attack boost. This guy is going to be great in Kizuna, and he's going to be very good outside of it as well. One thing that is interesting though is that a lot of the times these Kizuna Clash rare recruits are going to remove 6 turns of debuffs, so the fact that he doesn't remove 6 turns leads me to believe that this might be an easier Kizuna. We'll have to wait and see what they actually have in store for us here, but usually it is 6 turns of debuffs because it starts off as level 5 and then after level 30 it will become a 6 turn removal, and these rare recruits typically remove that, so it is odd that they are not doing that this time around. So let's have a look at these crewmate abilities. He can't be blown away, that's interesting, and / a powerhouse base stat increase. Okay, so overall Drake seems pretty good. That special ability is really strong and is definitely going to see some play. But next we've got Kobe, who's also a strength unit, so he is going to be strength cerebral fighter. Okay, and he does not get a captain ability upgrade. That is interesting. But his special changes all slots, including block, into tandem slots. That's cool, actually. And they've made it in such a way where, like, you can use X-Drake and Kobe together, and depending on what kind of crew you want to use, you could use like Sengoku, you could use Sengoku to get his tandem ability, or you could use Kaido to use his tandem ability with X-Drake. It's interesting. Either way, full board of slots into tandem, and removes threshold by 5 turns, reduces paralysis and bind by 5 turns, and gives you a 3 times chain lock for 1 turn, and if you already have a chain lock, then it will further increase the chain effect by 0.25. Yeah, I think both of these characters are really good. I like that there's reduced redundancy with the special ability of Kobe, where 3 times chain lock isn't really that good, but if it's all you got, it's not terrible. But then if you've already got a better chain lock in store or a chain boundary, you can further increase that, which I kind of like. So I think Kobe's actually pretty solid too. He will make tandem slots matching to the crew, and just a little bit of a stat boost. Unfortunately, these characters do not have Pirate Rumble abilities, and their support effects are all terrible as well. So that's a little unfortunate, but overall, I think that Kobe and Drake are good characters, but they're not characters that you should go out of your way to spend your Rainbow Gems for. You should definitely be holding on to them for whatever comes at the end of the month, whatever comes for 8.5 anniversary, or whatever comes at New Year's, because New Year's is not far away, guys. It's like, what, 2 months away? You should probably be waiting for that, because that's going to be the most exciting time of the year. And remember, the past few years we've had amazing stuff come at New Year's. Obviously, with the previous year, Luffy Crew and Roger Whitebeard, and then before that we had Roger and Odin. So I think that it would be a very wise decision to wait until New Year's to see what happens during that time period. But that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one today. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.